But let's start with what's happening right here on your front row seat to justice. Today, day one of the murder trial for the three men accused of killing Ahmaud Arbery. Ahmaud Arbery was the young man who was jogging through a South Georgia neighborhood, was pursued by three men in two pickups, and those three men now at trial for that murder. Court TV legal correspondent Julie Janae joins us tonight live from Brunswick, Georgia, where it is all happening. Today, as we said, day one, jury selection. Julie Janae, bring us up to speed. What happened today?
Vinny, the court has cleared through 12 of its first potential jurors. They started with a pool of 20, and they asked all of them general questions, then got more specific by individually questioning 12 of them. All of them were dismissed, either for statutory reasons like being a certified member of law enforcement or having a child care issue where they can't serve for the amount of time that's needed for this case. Others were dismissed by agreement of the parties, but ultimately we did not seat any jurors today. Here's a look at a voir dire scorecard as far as what these potential jurors in that pool of 20 said about some of those general questions. They raised their hands, 12 of them, saying that they had a negative view of Travis McMichael, the shooter in this case. 14, two more of those 12, had a negative view of Greg McMichael, the father defendant. 4 of them believe that people of color are not treated fairly by the criminal justice system. And there were several that said that though they had that negative opinion, it was not a fixed opinion. And we know that legally is the question as far as this court deciding whether or not they would be striked for cause. That didn't happen for all of them, but they did not seat of those 12. So there's still 8 that have to be individually questioned going forward, and more pools are going to be in front of this court coming up.
You talk about the wheels of justice moving slowly during this jury selection. So 0 for 12 today, and we'll see what happens. So what's going to happen tomorrow now? You've got those 8 that have to come in, and then what happens after that as well?
Right, those 8 will come in and they will finish up the individual questioning. A lot of those questions touching on things like race, their position on the Confederate flag, whether or not they feel comfortable sitting in judgment of someone. They've been answering questions about whether or not they are gun owners, but they are also being asked about this case, whether or not they've seen the video, how many times they've seen the video, how they feel about law enforcement. So we'll hear more of those questions. We'll hear first general questions from them, which we are able to show on our air and live stream, but we cannot show any images or audio from inside of individual questioning. So that will be the difference, but we do have pool reporters inside who will report back as to what's happening inside that second phase of jury selection.
All right, so we didn't get a juror today. So how long do you think this whole thing may take? Do we have any idea?
It depends on who you ask. The court has said it's going to be between 1 week and 2 weeks. I asked defense attorney Franklin Hogue, who represents Gregory McMichael. He said it'll be at least 2 weeks, but he thinks it could be even longer just because of the difficulty in going through these questions and how so many people have seen so much about this case. And that is, in fact, true. Just the raising of hands of those jurors during the general questioning, many of them have already seen the video, already had an opinion of the case. And as I mentioned, more than half of them saying they already had a negative view of at least one of these defendants.
All right, Julia Janae in Brunswick, Georgia, all the latest from the case involving the killing of Ahmaud Arbery. Thanks so much, and we'll talk to you again throughout this trial. Julia Janae in Brunswick, where it's all happening.